Close your eyes for a moment and take a slow breath. In a world that runs after noise, speed, and endless desire, there is a quiet map already written within you. Not in the markets, not in the forecasts of others, but in the gentle lines of your own hand. Among these lines, there is one that people often call the money line. But understand this clearly, this line is not a promise of gold. It is a reflection of your awareness, your discipline, and your inner harmony. Look at your palm not with greed, but with curiosity. The line you seek usually rises vertically, somewhere beneath your fingers, often below the ring finger or the little finger. It may be deep or faint, straight or slightly broken. Many believe this line shows wealth, success, and financial flow. But the truth is more subtle. A strong, clear line does not mean riches will fall into your lap. It means you have the capacity to focus, to remain steady, to walk a path without being easily distracted. A faint or broken line does not mean poverty. It may simply mean your journey is one of change, learning, and transformation. In the coming time, what you call 2026, the world will shift in ways both visible and invisible. Opportunities will arise, but so will confusion. Those who rely only on external signs will feel lost, but those who understand their inner nature will find clarity even in chaos. Your palm does not control your future. It whispers about your tendencies. If your line is strong, you must still act with wisdom. If your line is weak, you must not surrender to doubt. The river flows not because of the map, but because of its own movement. Wealth is not only coins or numbers. True wealth is a calm mind, a steady heart, and actions aligned with purpose. When your thoughts are scattered, even great fortune feels empty. When your mind is clear, even small gains feel abundant. So if you wish to activate your money line, do not press your palm or search for magic. Instead, cultivate patience. Practice discipline, spend with awareness, earn with honesty, give without fear. These are the real forces that deepen any line in your life. Sit quietly each day, even for a few moments. Observe your thoughts as you would watch clouds passing in the sky. When desire arises, do not chase it blindly. When fear appears, do not run from it. In this balance, your decisions become wiser, and wise decisions shape your destiny more than any line ever could. The future you seek is not hidden in your hand. It is created by how you use that hand, what you build, what you give, and what you choose to hold or release. So look at your palms, not as a prediction, but as a reminder everything you seek is already within your reach. The money line is a reflection, not a guarantee. The line on your palm does not promise wealth. It reflects your inner qualities like focus, discipline, and consistency. Look at your palm again, not as something that predicts your fate, but as something that reflects the quiet story of your inner world. Many people search for a money line, as if it were a secret code that unlocks instant wealth, as if destiny were carved in ink and waiting to be read like a fixed map. But the deeper understanding is far more subtle. The lines on your hand are not commands written by the universe, they are impressions shaped by your habits. Your thoughts, your choices, and the way you respond to life itself. When you hear the idea of a money line, it may sound like a promise that riches are already decided for you. Yet this is a misunderstanding of both life and nature. Nothing valuable in existence appears without cause. Just as a river does not flow without the shape of the land, and a tree does not grow without roots, your financial reality does not appear without your actions, discipline, and awareness. The palm simply becomes a silent witness to this unfolding process. If a line on the hand appears deep and clear, it is not a signal that wealth will arrive without effort. Instead, it can be understood as a symbol of steady habits, focused thinking, and consistent behavior over time. It reflects a mind that is less scattered, a person who may have learned patience, and someone who has practiced making decisions with clarity rather than impulse. In contrast, if the line appears faint or broken, it is not a sign of failure or lack. It may simply reflect a life that has experienced change, uncertainty, or shifting priorities. Such a life often carries lessons, adaptability, and hidden strength that cannot be seen at first glance. What truly shapes these lines is not fortune but repetition. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you strengthen your inner direction. Every time you act with awareness instead of confusion, you build stability within yourself. Over time, these invisible patterns of thought and behavior are believed to be mirrored in the physical form of the hand. In this way, the palm is not a source of prediction, but a quiet reflection of lived experience. So when people ask about the money line, the deeper answer is not found in searching for a mark on the skin, but in observing the mind behind the hand. Is it restless or calm? Is it impulsive or thoughtful? Is it driven by fear or guided by understanding? These inner conditions shape every decision, and every decision slowly shapes the path of life. Wealth in its truest sense does not begin in the palm. It begins in awareness. And awareness grows through patience, through reflection, and through the simple act of paying attention to how one lives each moment. Your mindset shapes your financial future. A clear and calm mind leads to better decisions, which ultimately create real wealth, not the lines on your hand. If you continue to observe the palm with a deeper silence, You begin to understand that what appears as lines is not merely physical detail, but a reminder of movement of time, movement of thought, and movement of choice. The so-called money line is often searched for as though it were a hidden treasure mark, something that guarantees success or reveals a fixed destiny. Yet life does not operate in such rigid symbols. Instead, it flows like water, constantly adjusting to the shape of your intentions and actions. When people look at their hands and try to find certainty, they are often really searching for reassurance. They want to know whether their future will be stable, whether abundance will come, whether struggle will end. But the truth is that stability is not found in prediction, it is created through awareness. A hand may show many lines, some deep and some faint, but none of them move on their own. They are shaped over time, just as life is shaped by repeated thoughts and repeated decisions. The idea of a financial line on the palm can be understood as a symbolic reminder rather than a literal map. If a person lives with focus, avoids constant distraction, and builds habits of patience, their life naturally becomes more structured. This structure may be reflected in the way their hand appears over time, but more importantly, it is reflected in the results they experience in daily life. Opportunities are noticed more easily by those who are attentive. Decisions become clearer for those who are calm, and wealth becomes more sustainable for those who understand balance. In contrast, when the mind is constantly restless, jumping from desire to desire, fear to fear, the life that unfolds often feels unstable, not because fate is against them, but because attention is scattered. The hand, in this sense, is not a source of control, but a silent record of how energy has been used. Just as a river carves its path through consistent flow, human life carves its direction through consistent thought and action. Looking ahead to changing times, uncertainty will always be part of the human experience. External conditions may rise and fall, markets may shift, and opportunities may appear or disappear. But the inner condition of a person remains the most powerful foundation. Those who understand their own impulses, who observe their habits without judgment, and who act with awareness rather than reaction naturally create stronger outcomes in life. The money line, then, is not something to chase on the palm, but something to cultivate within behavior. It grows through responsibility, through patience, and through the ability to delay impulse in favor of wisdom. It strengthens when effort is consistent, when choices are thoughtful, and when gratitude is present even in small progress. In this way, the hand becomes less of a mystery and more of a mirror. It reflects not destiny written in advance, but the story you are actively writing with every moment you live. 2026 brings change, not certainty. The coming time will offer both opportunities and confusion. Only those with inner clarity will navigate it successfully. When you begin to observe life more deeply, you slowly realize that nothing valuable appears suddenly without preparation. Even what people call the money line on the palm is not a magical sign of wealth, but rather a symbolic reflection of how a person has lived, thought, and acted over time. The hand does not decide destiny, it only shows traces of movement, like soft echoes of choices that have already been made. Many people search for certainty in uncertain times. They look at their palm and hope to see a clear promise of success, as if life could be guaranteed by a single line. But life is not written in fixed symbols. It is shaped moment by moment through awareness. Every thought you repeat, every habit you strengthen, and every decision you take adds to the invisible foundation of your future. The palm simply becomes a quiet reflection of that foundation, not its creator. If a person is disciplined, their life becomes structured. If a person is careless, their life becomes scattered. These patterns are not punishment or reward, they are natural outcomes of how energy is used. In this sense, the so-called money line is often interpreted as a sign of focus and direction. A clearer line is associated with consistency, while a faint or broken one is associated with change and unpredictability. But neither is superior or inferior in a moral sense. They simply represent different journeys of experience. A person with many changes in life may have learned adaptability, resilience, and emotional strength. A person with steady progress may have learned patience, endurance, and long-term thinking. Both paths hold wisdom, and both are reflected differently in the symbolic language of the hand. What truly matters is not the appearance of the line, but the awareness behind the life being lived. In times ahead, especially as circumstances shift in the world, people will be tested not by what they own, but by how they respond. External stability can change quickly, but inner stability remains a powerful anchor. Those who understand their own habits and reactions will navigate uncertainty with greater ease. Those who act without reflection may find themselves repeatedly disturbed by change. Wealth, when understood deeply, is not only about accumulation. It is about alignment. When your actions match your values, when your effort matches your intention, and when your choices are guided by clarity rather than impulse, then whatever comes into your life becomes more meaningful and sustainable. This is the real foundation of prosperity. The hand in this understanding is not a map of fortune, but a mirror of process. It reflects how far a person has come in shaping their own awareness. The so-called money line is therefore not something to chase or fear, but something to understand as part of a larger picture of personal growth. In the end, what you seek in your palm has always been closer than you think. It is not hidden in lines or symbols, but in the steady unfolding of your own awareness, moment by moment, choice by choice. Breath wealth is more than money. True abundance includes peace of mind, emotional balance, and purposeful living, not just financial gain. When you hold your hand in front of you and study its lines, it may seem as if you are looking at a coded message from destiny. Many people call one of these markings the money line, believing it holds the secret to financial success or failure. But in truth, what you are seeing is not a fixed prophecy. It is more like a living record of how a life has been experienced so far. Every line is shaped gradually, just as every chapter of life is written slowly through decisions, habits, and inner awareness. If you search for certainty in the palm, you may miss the deeper understanding it is quietly pointing toward. Life does not offer guarantees written in skin or stone. Instead, it offers possibilities shaped by consciousness. The so-called money line is often interpreted as a symbol of how focused or scattered a person's energy has been. But even this interpretation should not be taken as absolute truth. It is better understood as a reminder that your present mindset has a powerful influence on your future direction. When a person lives with clarity, discipline, and patience, their actions tend to align. They waste less energy on confusion and more energy on creation. Over time, this consistency naturally leads to stronger outcomes in work, relationships, and financial stability. In contrast, when attention is constantly divided, attention is constantly divided. When impulses are followed without reflection, life can feel unstable not because of fate, but because direction is unclear. The palm in this sense may appear to reflect these patterns, but it does not create them. A faint or broken line on the hand should not be seen as a warning of lack. It may simply reflect a life that has experienced transitions, emotional shifts, or periods of uncertainty. Such experiences are not failures, they are part of human growth. Through change, a person learns adaptability. Through struggle, a person learns strength. Through loss, a person learns understanding. These qualities cannot always be seen as wealth in a material sense, but they are deeply valuable forms of inner richness. Looking toward the future, especially in uncertain times, people often try to find external signs that reassure them. But true reassurance does not come from prediction. It comes from awareness. When you understand your own patterns, how you react under pressure, how you make decisions, how you handle desire and fear, you begin to see that your real power lies not in what is written on your hand, but in what is shaped in your mind. Wealth is not only the result of opportunity, it is the result of readiness. Opportunities appear constantly, but only those with clarity recognize and use them wisely. The money line, when seen symbolically, may represent this readiness, the alignment between thought and action, between intention and behavior. But this alignment is not fixed. It can be strengthened at any moment through conscious living. In the end, your palm is not a map of destiny. It is a mirror of experience. It reflects where your attention has gone, how your energy has been used, and how your life has unfolded so far. And most importantly, it reminds you that nothing is final. Every moment is still being written, not in the lines of your hand, but in the choices you make right now. Daily actions strengthen your path. Patience, honesty, mindful spending, and self-discipline are the real ways to improve your financial journey, not superstition. When you quietly observe your own palm, it can feel as though you are holding a small map of your entire life. People often become curious about certain markings and begin searching for something they call the money line, hoping it will reveal whether wealth is destined to come easily or remain distant. But if you look deeper with calm understanding, you begin to see that these lines are not predictions carved into fate. They are reflections of something far more fluid, the continuous movement of your thoughts, habits, and lived experience. Life does not unfold like a fixed script written in advance. It unfolds more like a river, constantly shaped by the ground it flows through. In the same way, the hand does not define your financial future, it quietly reflects how you have moved through life so far. Every decision you make, whether small or large, leaves an imprint not only in your circumstances but also in the patterns of your behavior. Over time, these patterns are believed to be mirrored in the subtle formations of the palm. The idea of a money line is often misunderstood as a guarantee of wealth. Yet wealth is never the result of a single sign or symbol. It grows from repetition, discipline, awareness, and timing. A person who learns to manage desire, who develops patience, and who remains steady in effort tends to create more stable results over time. This stability may be symbolically associated with clearer lines on the hand, but the real cause is always inner development, not outer marking. A life filled with constant distraction, emotional imbalance, or impulsive choices often leads to instability in outcomes. Not because destiny is fixed against such a person, but because scattered attention creates scattered results. When energy is divided without awareness, progress becomes inconsistent. The palm in this interpretation simply becomes a silent reflection of how consistently or inconsistently that energy has been used over the years. But it is important to remember that nothing about a human life is permanently fixed. Even if someone feels their path has been unclear or unstable, change is always possible. Awareness itself is powerful enough to redirect direction. The moment a person begins to observe their habits honestly, they begin to regain control over their future. Small changes in thought lead to small changes in action, and those small changes gradually reshape the entire direction of life. Wealth, when understood deeply, is not only about money entering your hands. It is also about how wisely those hands are used. Do they act with patience or urgency? Do they create or consume? Do they give thought before taking action? These qualities matter far more than any symbolic marking on the skin. The true money line, if it exists at all, is formed in the invisible space between intention and action, between awareness and choice. As time moves forward and life continues to change, external conditions will always remain uncertain, but inner clarity can grow stronger with practice. When you begin to act with mindfulness instead of reaction, you open yourself up to new possibilities and opportunities. When you choose discipline over impulse and when you stay aware of your own patterns, your life naturally becomes more stable and meaningful. In the end, your palm is not telling you what will happen. It is reminding you of what has already been happening within you. And more importantly, it gently points you back to the present moment, where every new choice still has the power to shape everything that comes next.